Under informational items, special celebrations. Mr. Flowers.
Good evening, Madam Vice President, board members, and Superintendent Sachs. We are very excited to have a special student to celebrate tonight. When Superintendent Sachs kind of put these celebrations onto our board agendas, he kind of gave us a charge to celebrate kids of all kinds of different accomplishments. You know, not just necessarily the academic performers, but all kinds of kids that do great things in their lives. And tonight we're going to honor one of those kids. His name is Gibson Davis, and he's a Cabell Midland High School student and recently recognized in Bluegrass Today for stepping in for 5-time International Bluegrass Music Association Banjo Player of the Year, Kristen Scott Benson, when she had a family emergency. Bluegrass Today has praised the teenager, saying he's with the rising stars. With rising stars like Gibson Davis, the future of bluegrass music is in good hands. And apparently this is the second time that Bluegrass has featured Gibson. So it's a pretty cool accomplishment. And I want him to come up a little bit. And this is a very talented young man. He's been playing since he was about 7 years old. Cripple Creek was the first tune that Gibson learned to play. And we checked him out online, and he's a good player, and he's going to actually do a little something for you here in a minute. But music's in his family. His great-grandpa, L.Z. Davis, was an old-time fiddler who played with Red Allen and embedded the pickin' gene for his future generations. And Grandpa Danny Davis played with Ralph Stanley and some of the greats. And Gibson's dad, Chris Davis, currently performs with the Grascals, but has played with Larry Cordell, Melvin Goins, Junior Sisk, and Marty Rayburn, among others. So these are some big names in the bluegrass world. And Gibson, why don't you tell them a little bit about stepping in and what you were doing exactly?
Well, you know, my dad's in the band, so I had a bit of an advantage because I've heard the songs, and they called me and they told me that Kristen's dad wasn't doing so well and she wasn't going to be able to make it to some of these shows. So I said yes, and I learned the songs, and he passed away, so they had the funeral and things to worry about with that. So I went on a 3-day trip with them to Tennessee, Illinois, and Oklahoma, and I filled in for him, and it was a great time. I got to see a lot of nice people and meet a lot of new people, so it was a great experience, aside from, being a lot of fun.
That's incredible.
I'm 15 and I'm in 10th grade.
15.
Gibson, do you read music or tablature?
I learned by ear, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, very impressive.
My grandpa started me off, and then I learned the rest by myself.
Nice.
Even
That
more
is
amazing.
great.
And so Gibson's going to set up right now. Go ahead.
Oh,
sit down
yes,
here.
please.
He's going to play you a song because we thought it'd be fun to have him actually show you the kind of talent that he has.
Oh, I love
Really cool. And he's going to set up. And while he's actually, I want to go ahead and wait because I want him to go ahead and see this too. We've got a special greeting from somebody here in just a minute too. You want to, I'll tell you what, why don't you come over here? Yeah, let's go over here.
Oh, careful there, Jack.
Forget about that mic. Why don't you come over here in front of the board?
Oh, I love it.
All right.
Oh, I love that. Excellent. Oh, that was great.
Fantastic.
And don't go anywhere, Gibson. I've got one more thing. We have a marketing assistant there, Leland Steele, who has a few radio connections out there. And he let one of our friends at WSM in Nashville know that Gibson was going to be honored tonight. So he sent a special message. I'm going to play it for you now.
Hey Gibson Davis. It's Bill Cody from the studios of 650 AM WSM, home of the Grand Ole Opry. Congratulations on all the great things that are going on in your life. Getting to play with the Grascals features and bluegrass today. It seems like things are charmed in your life right now. We're very happy for you. And we look forward maybe one day seeing you on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. Dreams do come true, you know.
That was fantastic. Awesome.
That's all of our recognitions for tonight. If you guys would like to have a picture with Gibson, we'd
Oh,
love to
please.
have a photo of the Board of Education with you, Sarah. And if you'd like to bring your fan club, that's fine.
So what was the name of the song you just played?
That was Ground Zero.
That was, okay, that was excellent. That was, I will say, do
Yes.
you take requests? That was fantastic. How beautiful that was. I'm just
Thank you.
very, very proud that, one, you were able to be here this evening, but your accomplishments are far and wide, and what an amazingly bright future you have. But we're proud to have you as a student in Cabell County. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really important that we perpetuate music like this,
Yes.
bluegrass, and keep it going. This is part of our heritage, part of who we are, and boy, you're the man to do the job.
Thank
This
you.
is the best board meeting we've had in years.
It's just,
Already.
I love bluegrass.
Play Rocky Top, please.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. We got a request. That's right. I love Rocky Top.
Oh, I wish my daddy was here.
Oh my gosh, it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is amazing.
You want a picture?
Can you play Ain't No Sunshine when she's gone? No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing, but I love what you did. That's fantastic.
Yes.
So incredible.
It looked like he was going to try.
I know he was. I think he can.
Oh, and to play
Sing
by
it to
ear.
him. He can do
That's,
it.
that's incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Must have.
Oh.
Real talent.
And Ms. Hayes is going to be interviewing Gibson after this and featuring him as one of our success story videos. So we're excited about that. Oh, yeah. My mom plays banjo. It's gorgeous. Oh, yeah.
his guitar, mandolin, and
Well, I'm listening to Alison Krauss on the way home.
not like that.
That was
kid
great.
is amazingly gifted. All right, folks, let's see here. Alrighty, everybody ready? Move on here. We're ready for an update in instruction and leadership services. Ms. Watts?
You know, it's always bad when you have to follow the children. There is no way we can top that one. So I'm going to turn it over to, I'm just going to pass the buck to Mrs. Scarberry. But she's going to talk to you about our powerful partnership, because you have many of those on the board agenda as you've been approving them and as we continue to build this wonderful program. Ms. Scarberry.
Good evening. This afternoon, as she said, I'm going to speak about our Powerful Partners and our Career Transition Program. We have three Yeah, there, it turned now, okay. 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 We have three principles for this program. One is the business partnerships that provide work-based opportunities for our students to give them those fundamental and advanced training experiences that will transfer to a future and competitive work situations and opportunities. We also are working with those high school counselors to identify the students that would be possibly at risk, and that we can provide them some work-related skills in order for them to have success after they leave our school system. We know how important it is, not for our kids. We want them to receive a high-quality education, but we also want to realize that there is a life outside of our school district, and we want them to be productive in whatever avenue they would choose. And also working with our job coaches. Our job coaches are the key to this, is making sure that we have people within our job coaching program that will support our students, that will be able to participate in a 2-week orientation with our students and prepare them for pre-employment and prepare them for what tasks they will be facing, and also troubleshooting in the work environment. Our powerful partners right now, we have over 50 work locations. Last year when I spoke to you about this program, we had to change just a bit due to COVID restrictions in some of our facilities and locations. We've been able to work with more of those. As a matter of fact, on today's board agenda, you will see Little Caesars Pizza, which is one of our powerful partners. They are mainly local businesses and national chain outlets of which we work. We have partnerships with Marshall University with the dining hall and the student center, St. Mary's, and Alcon. Our goal for this program is occupational skills and work-related experience in grocery, retail, food service, hospitals, auto body, and hospitality. Our powerful partners we want our students to enter the work field with skills to be successful. We know that in the workplace, our students are required to have communication skills, whether it be with their other employees or with management. We want them to know that there is employee conduct. Just like we have a student code of conduct, we want that to apply into the workplace setting and be able for students to realize what does it mean to be professional in whatever workplace you would be in. But also having variety of on-site experiences, so that they can also learn what their interests are. The job experience with peer relationships and management, but also what is meant to be, have a dress code. Certain businesses require dress codes. I want to recognize Huntington High School and Cabell Midland for, even in the pandemic, they've maintained a strong rapport with these business partners. We've talked and continued to build those relationships. Our powerful partners continue to grow. Without the relationships we already have, we would not be able to continue to grow the program and be able to continue to grow those powerful partners. Like I said, Little Caesars stores in Huntington area. We have Chick-fil-A and Steak Escape at the Marshall Student Center. Last year, as we left school, even during a pandemic, we were able to, 2 of our students secured positions at a local Wendy's and the Twin Towers Dining Hall at the end of the school year. As these powerful partners get to know our kids, they also realize some of the needs that our kids have because of the relationships that we have. And we have Jamie McElroy at Huntington High and Aaron Brown at Cabell Midland. Those 2 gentlemen spend all of their job time advocating for students. And Save a Lot Grocery donated $2,000 in gift cards that the school could give to the students for groceries during the holiday season. So those partnerships go way beyond just work experience, but relationships with our kids and relationships with our schools. I provided in the next 3 slides just pictures of our students at different job sites. If you see the smiley faces, I was not sure that those students I had permission, so I just put smiley faces on their faces. But the 4th slide, you will see all the local businesses for which we want to recognize them for their dedication to the students of Cabell County Schools and for what they do to allow our students to have work experience. For the future of our program, we want to continue to build those powerful partners in order for our kids to gain pre-employment and employment skills. We have also had to think about work experience in the school setting. COVID made us think outside of the box, and what jobs would we want our students to have if they were employed in Cabell County schools. So we're thinking of our students as possible employees for our own district and what skills do we need for them to have. We're addressing transition and work-related skills, even during the current health concerns. We have transition technical assistance, which is the pathways that we're working with our students, whether they're in the work program or not, to talk about what pathway are you going to choose. We're also still focusing on Grad 2020, which of our students are at risk and what can we do to make sure that our students graduate and are employable citizens once they leave our school district. We are currently working on a grant with the Division of Rehabilitation Services and the Community Access Group to develop a work program after school. Just like we have a tutoring program after school, we realize that some of our kids, based on their schedule, may not be able to be in the work program, but what can we as Cabell County Schools do to help those students still receive the same pre-work employment skills in an after-school program? So we're working now to get a coordinator for that and someone to serve to provide pre-employment training services to our students in Cabell County. And we're also going to be working to transition our kids in middle school to inform them of the program, inform families of the program, but make sure through our career literacy that our students are aware of what careers are out there and what skills they will need.
Thank you, Mrs. Scarberry.
That's all I have.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're ready for an update in operations and support. Mr. Hardesty.
Good evening, Madam Vice President, board members, Dr. Sachs. I just wanted to review some things that we have going on right now in our department. We are continuing with our design team meetings at all of our new construction sites. We have a meeting this Thursday with all 3 of those architects and their people, the engineers, and our maintenance crew. And the reason we're having that is we want to make sure that our maintenance crew has input on the type of HVAC system, the plumbing, those things that they know works, that they know how to work on. They have some input into what's going to be utilized in our buildings. We're working on AED and CPR training for all of the winter sports, all those coaches. They have to have that in place before they begin. We're working on with Mr. Flowers on a logo wrap for the new food service truck and what that's going to look like. Next week is National School Lunch Week. We don't want to forget that. I'm sure Dr. Sachs may have more information on that coming up, as well as information on the job fair. We have our first job fair, their standalone job fair, this Friday at the former Sears building at the mall, and that's going to run from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And during that time, we're gonna have a bus and a bus driver. We're still not positive if we can have that bus driver there between 2 and 4, because they may have to run out and do a run or two and then come back. But we're gonna have a bus there with the bus driver. We're gonna have a cook with the demo table set up so that people can actually see what a school cook does and how that works. We're gonna have a custodian there. We're gonna have our alternate certification teacher. As soon as school's out, she's gonna come and join us to let people know that an alternate path to the teaching profession, and should be able to answer questions as someone who's going through that process now. We're starting a soft rollout next week of the routing app for our school buses in 2 of our elementary schools. And that app is the one that we've talked about off and on for a couple months now, that would show the location of the bus for parents that log into that and see where that bus is at. We're going to start with Explorer Academy and Cox Landing. And the soft rollout is to make sure that we can address the needs of the parents and troubleshoot some of those problems, because while we're preparing for that in the background, you really don't know until you implement something what you're going to be looking for. Our goal there is to work through that process, and sometime by the end of the first semester, try to get that in all of our elementary schools. We're working on plans now to enhance the greenhouses at Midland. We have some work to do there. We'd like to get that in a little better shape for them when they start working there this spring. And I realize this is an odd time to be working on a greenhouse, but our team went up, looked at it, talked to the teachers there, Mr. McGuffin. We feel like now is the time to start planning that, and so that way you're not doing something in a rush at the end. And our goal is to have the work that we're looking at completed by the end of March for that selling season for them next spring. We had an issue at Spring Hill where we had someone that ran into the fence behind Spring Hill. It's just the fence that goes around the school. There's a street behind Spring Hill, and someone took out part of that fencing. We're replacing that, so we're going to begin that installation this week at Spring Hill. It's not all of the fencing, it's just a portion. Unfortunately, we're not able to secure galvanized fencing. No one has that in stock at all. So right now we're gonna have to go with I think it's powder coated black, because we need to secure the lot. So we're gonna have to go ahead and put that in. We're gonna work on replacing the sidewalks. I think I discussed this a little bit at the last meeting that runs along 5th Avenue beside the building. That project is going out for bid next week in the paper. One of the things that we have on the agenda, I know this is a lot, but one of the things on the agenda this week is the HVAC bid, or the award of that bid for the transportation complex at the gymnasium there. So that's on there as well. We have completed the certified list at this point, which is a huge undertaking that we have to do in the personnel offices for every position that we have in the county. We have submitted that to Mr. Rotgen for review, because that is due this week to the State Department. And while it consists of many, many, many pages, I appreciate the work that our personnel offices did, but I also appreciate the work that Mr. Rotgen does, because he checks our work and he checks them all, and I really appreciate that. We're also keeping track of our mask inventory. But we have schools that request those. We get them out to them. We currently have 67,000 student masks and 128,000 adult masks that are currently in stock. Here, that's not counting what's in the schools right now in stock, because they keep a stock there as well. And one other item on the radar I wanted to talk to you about tonight was the demo package, which is also on the agenda tonight. Excuse me, for the Sears building. And Mr. Ferguson is here. ZMM put that out for bid. He's here to answer any questions. But before I bring Mr. Ferguson up, I want to see if there are any other questions about any other items or something that I may not have covered.
Question. The air conditioning at the transportation complex,
Yes.
will it completely heat and air the whole complete complex?
No, it is just for the gymnasium.
Just a gym?
Yes, sir.
The bid on that was,
Yeah, it's my understanding what we put out for bid was just the gymnasium.
85,000?
Yes, sir.
That's a lot for the jam.
Well, I
yes.
can, if I can also say, and actually, maybe when Mr. Ferguson comes up, he could even speak to, not specifically that project.
Right.
But Mr. Parsons, one of the issues we also have is that because of the federal stimulus that has occurred with the American Recovery Act, everybody is putting in HVAC units right now. And so there's a high demand for the products and for the work. And the last that I had heard is that some of the school districts across West Virginia, when they were putting out those HVAC bids, some of them were coming back at like 60% more than they had originally budgeted for some of those projects. So it's a little bit of an expensive time to do that work because there's shortages, there's high demand for those types of products because it increases ventilation in buildings and those sort of things. So that's probably one of the reasons that you see that, but it was competitively bid, and Mr. Hardesty can definitely speak to that part. So
Yes, we did competitively bid that. We received one quote, and that was the only one we received.
Will that system handle the MERV 13 filters?
I'm sorry, Mr. Parsons, I didn't hear you.
Will the system handle MERV 13 filters?
Yes, it should, yes. I'm not gonna say definitely that it does without looking at the specs, but that's what we would like to have in there, yes. And I'll follow up with you on that tomorrow.
And also, you're talking about the Sears complex.
Yes, sir.
If it's not finished in 100 days, what's the penalty?
I will let Mr. Ferguson speak to that. That's why I brought him here today. ZMM wrote that bid up and put that out. And, yes, that's what they expected to take is 100 days for the demo. Mr. Ferguson?
Well, one question before you come back.
Okay.
Another one. The second environmental study on the brickyard, have you received that yet?
We received two. One was on the environmental study, one was on the ground feel. Those
Yeah.
were the two that I have seen.
Do you have a copy of that yet, or anything?
Yes, did I not give that? Yes, I do.
I'd like to have a copy, please.
You've got it, because I have made one for you.
Let's see if I'm like Columbo, I got any more things in here.
That was the one that was pretty thick, the second one, Mr. Parsons. I thought I'd given that to you. Had a rubber band around it.
The furniture for the library of Cabell Midland.
Yes, Mr. Webb and I are working on that. We would like to get the furniture for them. We're trying to figure out exactly what she wants. In addition, Midland had also asked for some shelving in their book room, which is just across the hall from the library.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the book room that the literature department houses their novels and things in. And with our new reading program, they've received quite a few more, and they need some additional shelving, so we're working on getting that as well.
I think that's all right now.
All right, very
Thank you.
good.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll
Arnold.
verify the MERV 13 for you. Mr. Ferguson?
Okay, is this one? Okay. What kind of questions did you have?
Well, the question is, if EP leach is not completed in 100 days of the Sears building, what is the penalty? Will they pay a penalty or just?
We have a liquidated damages penalty, and I think it's $1,000 a day. I'd have to go back and look at the specifics, but it's typically $1,000, $1,500 a day. You depend on the project, but that's usually about the range that it's in.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Mr. Ferguson, though, I think it's important contextually regarding that question that Mr. Parsons asked, that as it relates to liquidated damages, just because let's say hypothetically they don't hit the 100 days, it's not necessarily that, let's say it's $1,000 and they go over 10 days. It doesn't mean automatically we get $10,000 or $1,000 a day over until they complete the project.
No.
We have to be able to show that we have had a financial loss because of their failure to complete. So, but what that means is that we, as it relates to the planning of a building or of a facility, that our documentation be in order, that we're able to document any kind of additional work man hours as it relates to the district has to put into, or whether it be supplies, or if it was to delay the next project for construction, those types of things. So I just wanted to be able to add that caveat that just because there's a liquidated damages amount, it doesn't mean that that we're able to automatically assess that to the company. We have to be able to prove that we've had a financial loss that at least equals the amount of what they've agreed to pay in liquidated damages of $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, or whatever it may be.
Right,
That would hold our contract up on another position in that building.
Then it would be a problem, and that would be when we would be able to assess some of those damages, yes.
Right, you have to show damage. You have to show that you've been damaged in some way or held up in some way, that it cost you money to continue. So
Because
that's,
they are working inside, and it, it wouldn't be outside where the weather would have any effect on them.
no.
Right.
No.
That was my point.
Right,
Yes, sir.
right.
Thank
They're-
you.
Everything they're working on is inside the building.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
Please, thank you, Mrs. Smalley. What is the official start date?
We haven't
for,
determined that yet. The contracts were delivered today for your signature. Once you approve them tonight, superintendent can sign, and then we'll coordinate a construction managers meeting with the contractor. I would say within the next 2 weeks, they'll start working on the inside.
Okay. And what about the escalators?
Eventually, they'll come out. What's coming out this time is all of the lighting, the ceilings, all the floor tile has to come up, all of the fixture wall. I know several of you probably have been in the building. Once we remove all of those display walls that Sears had put in, that opens up the building for the next contractor to actually see what's going on, so they can see. The escalators will come out in the next contract,
Okay.
as well as we might move an elevator or take the elevators out in the next contract. But we'll wait until then, because we don't want to do too much structural work right now until we figure out where all these rooms are going to be.
Okay, fair
Is
enough.
there an oil pit there?
There is yes, there is in the auto center, correct. We've had an environmental assessment early on and had that report, and they recommended how to deal with the oil pit and the oil separator and all that in the auto center.
Thank you.
And that work will take place in the next contract.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Hardesty. Would, one of the things about the job fair, I was hoping maybe you could also make sure the board members are aware is that we also we'll have a radio station that will be reporting.
That's what
I was like, could they listen, where do they need to listen for that?
I wanted to revisit that for just a moment. I want to make sure that you all know that you're invited. We'd love to see you stop by if you can sometime during the day on Friday. I'm hoping that we have a good turnout. It would be great to stop and talk to some potential future employees. But this week, we're working with Kinder Communications, and Mrs. Smith will be on the radio station, Thursday morning at 8:45 for about probably 10 to 15 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood, talking about the job fair. And Mr. Tackett will be on the dog Friday morning at 8:45, doing a live broadcast from there, talking about the job fair and the different positions we're looking for, and inviting the public to come out. In addition, we already have radio spots that are running through all of their channels. And Mr. Flowers and his team has been pushing that out on social media for us as well. And we have banners there that we're going to be hanging outside the Sears building probably tomorrow, early Thursday morning. We're going to be taking care of those. We already have them there. We just have to get up there and put them out.
One more question, Mr. Hardesty.
Yes.
My predecessor checking in. Generators, backup generators for these construction for our buildings. Have we made any arrangements to put that in the blueprints or plans for backup generators? The natural gas?
Are you talking about for the new
schools.
construction that we're going to do?
Yeah, for the schools, when the schools tie into our electrical system at the building. So if electric is off, the generators will kick in and give us some form of power.
We have not discussed that. However, we do have some generators at some of our buildings now. It's my understanding that, however, they're not new, but most of our schools do not have one.
We'd have to have a pretty good size one for each
Right.
building.
Yes.
At least keep the heat on in the winter if something happened. I
Yes.
don't know, you might think about that.
Absolutely will.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not yet.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Hardesty. All right, next, communications from the superintendent, Dr. Sachs.
Thank you, Madam Vice President and Acting Chair, as well as board members. It is an exciting time in Cabell County, but as we look at October, October is National Principals Month. Our Cabell County principals are absolutely the beacons of light in our communities as they have continued to go above and beyond to support our students' academic success while ensuring the health and the safety of every person in their learning community. With every new challenge, they've risen to the occasion and they've led their learning communities forward with absolute bold leadership. Our principals are the experts in what their students and their schools need, and I want to be able to issue a challenge to every board member and to the community and to our parents to make sure that you're able to show your appreciation for a principal that has meant something to you, and that's what this month's really all about. As we look at National Principals Month, it's an opportunity, again, for our leaders, elected officials, parents, students, and teachers and school staff to celebrate and honor their incredible principals for their visionary leadership. And I think that this is pretty special. In Cabell County, our principals and school leaders have a combined 568 years of leadership experience and nearly 1,300 years of total education experience. That is a testament to the quality education that students are receiving right here in Cabell County. When you look at the combined leadership experience of 568 years, it's truly amazing. Now, I do need to take a moment, about 10 seconds for a break as I prepare for the next section of my superintendent's update. So please bear with me for a second. It's National Lunch Week, and the theme is we're wild about lunch. Cabell County Schools will celebrate National Lunch Week October 11th, 11th through the 15th, 2021. The fun and creative campaign is Wild About School Lunch, highlights the importance of healthy school lunch to a student's success both in and out of the classroom. In Cabell County, we are proud that our school meals offer students fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and milk that meet federal nutrition standards. Many of the snake is bothering me. Many of the ingredients, including fruits, vegetables, pork, are locally sourced from farmers right here in our county and in our region. So now this will all make sense. Cabell County Schools employs 125 food service staff who prepare and serve nearly 350,000 meals per month, completely free of charge to our Cabell County families. And to recognize National School Lunch Week, next week, I will be taking on the role of safari guide at Ona Elementary next Tuesday and will help serve lunch to our wonderful students. So I'm excited, and believe it or not, this is not as good as it gets. I still have plenty of more wardrobe to be able to put on for my safari. So I very much look forward to it, and I can't wait to be able to share my experiences with the board at our next board meeting as to how our wild safari for National School Lunch Week went. So thank you. Let's see if I can do this without choking myself. Now it's time to get serious again. Yeah, that's right. Cabell County Schools Job Fair, as Mr. Hardesty mentioned, is Friday, October 8th from 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the former Sears. To the public, we have a continued need for substitute teachers and substitute service personnel in all categories. We are excited that some of our dedicated staff members, just like Mr. Hardesty alluded to, will be part of the job fair to tell their story of what it's like to serve in their position here in Cabell County. In last but definitely not least, I wanted to provide the board a COVID-19 update. as of the time that I was writing this, the active cases in the county have changed because I have an update from today's numbers. So those were yesterday's numbers that you see there on your sheet. We have 61 positive cases in the county with 151 current quarantines right now. This is remaining fairly steady. These are steady numbers that we've been seeing for the past several weeks. And again, that tells us that I think the mitigation strategies that we've been taking on and adhering to are working. Masking, asking those that are not feeling well to stay home and to get tested. And of course, our voluntary testing and screening program that we've been rolling out. And again, this random testing and screening is just another measure to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in our buildings. It helps us reduce the spread of COVID-19. And so by signing your child up for voluntary random screening, you're going to help our school district keep those positive cases low, keep the number of quarantines even lower, and we can keep our schools open for the foreseeable future, which is what we're all wanting to accomplish. Volunteer testing, I'm sorry, this was just a repeat slide from our last board meeting, but the COVID testing actually started 3 weeks ago, and so it's been going very, very well. And just as a reminder, it's a spit test. So it's a saliva test, so it's not invasive. It's nothing that causes any kind of discomfort. It's very easy, and it's actually gone very, very smoothly. Again, it's absolutely 100% voluntary, but parents and guardians that would like to sign their children up just need to complete the voluntary testing form and submit it to their school. We have had some additional people sign up, but we need more. And so, again, be a part of this solution so that we can identify individuals that may be asymptomatic but are positive and could be spreading the virus. I know in the first week we had, at least out of the random testing we had one positive test from that random screening. So we were able to, again, that one individual was able to be removed from the population while they were positive, and not potentially spread it to anyone else. So again, I think it's something that's showing that it's working, and again, that's expressed through the number of positive cases and quarantines that we've been having in the school district. Madam President, board members, that concludes my update, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Sachs. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately, how many students and staff do we have participating? At this point?
Originally, we had around 1,200 and some odd students. I don't know the exact number. It's in that, but I do not have an updated number. We had very few staff members that had signed up for the random testing. But what I can do is for Friday's board update, I'll make sure that I have an updated number for you all of students that are registered as well as faculty and staff.
Appreciate that very much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we will move on now to delegations to be heard. Do we have anyone signed up tonight?
We do not, ma'am.
Do not. All right, we shall move on then. Board members, we'll go to the 3000 series. Do we have any items for discussion from the 3000 series?
I make a motion we accept the 3000 series.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Hearing none, motion carries. 3000 series is approved. All right, that's long. All right, under financial, there are no financial items, but I believe we...
I did want to provide an update, if it would be possible, regarding something that's in the board members' packet. So I would ask Mr. Rotkin just to explain that and the reason why we have that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, good evening, board members. A couple of you, I think I had a chance to just briefly talk about it right before the board meeting, but there are some forms that I left with you this evening. Now that the financial statements were published after the last board meeting, we're kind of now going into audit season. So each year, our auditors ask that you complete a brief questionnaire just on internal controls and your understanding of the organization. So there's I think there's one page, front and back, maybe one question on the back. They just want you to complete that. We went ahead and made you an envelope, and so you can just stick that in the mail at your convenience. You don't have to do it today, you don't have to do it tomorrow, but just whenever you can, as soon as you can, so that way they can make that part of the audit process. And I think there's also just an informational letter that they also provided. No concerns, it's just something that they try to provide some information every year, all pre-audit kind of stuff. And then they'll begin their field work
This
with us in November.
This,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Are there any other questions about that material?
Any questions? All right, thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Mr. Rodman, we appreciate you. Moving now to the personnel section, 5,000 series. Board members. Do you have any questions? Any items you want to pull?
I make a motion to accept the 5,000 series. Accept. Item 503.
5.03?
Yes.
Yes, sir. All right. Board, do you want to go ahead and vote on the remainder of that section?
That's fine
First.
with me. I will second that with the exclusion of 5.03.
All right, with that in mind, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing none. That passes with the exception of 5.03. All right, now.
Madam President,
Yes.
before we move on to this next section, which I know we need to get to, I did want to recognize, we do have someone in the audience that you just approved the hire of.
Oh,
And I
okay.
just want to be able to congratulate them since they're here.
All right.
If you look at P074, we have Jordan Gnatic, who is moving from an academic coach at Central Elementary School to, she'll be here at the district office as an elementary academic specialist. And so we'll be working basically very similar to what she was doing at Central City in her position, but she'll be doing it for all teachers, elementary teachers
Wonderful.
in the county. So
Excellent.
we're really excited to have her
Congratulations.
leadership. So,
Congratulations.
yes, thank you, board members, for allowing me that opportunity. At this time, we do have one additional personnel item that I would request that we go into executive session. It's item 5.03, professional employee suspension without pay.
All right, I'll need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go to executive session.
Madam President, I second that motion.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing none. Motion carries. We're in executive session. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing none? Yes, sir, I can.
Carolyn, did you get that? Skip was
let's
the.
do it again.
Skip made it, and who seconded it?
Bishop Shaw.
Mr. Shaw.
Mr. Shaw
Okay, good,
did.
okay, all right.
Okay, we're back in session. All right. Dr. Sachs, do you have a recommendation for us?
I do. Board members, I'm recommending I'm recommending ratifying the unpaid suspension of Todd Parks beginning September 17th, 2021, and continuing until investigation is complete and a resolution is reached.
All right, having heard the superintendent's recommendation, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Second.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Hearing none, motion is passed. All right. Let's see, where are we? And we've already completed the 5,000. Under number 6, special board items. Board members, do we have any items to be brought up tonight?
May I ask a question?
I believe you can.
General question for you, Dr. Sachs. Has there been any new developments from Mr. Stewart on a possible traffic light at Cabell Midland High School?
I don't have the answer to that.
Okay.
Which means I don't have any updates.
Oh,
But I will talk
understand.
with him, and I know that in talking with him, he did have a concern that would cause some additional problems in traffic flow, but I have not followed up with him since then. But I will, and I'll report back to you all.
Sounds good?
Thank you.
Yeah, are you talking about by the guard shack and the
Yes.
electronic sign?
Prominently for the families that need to turn left going toward Milton. You have no trouble turning right there.
Yes.
But it backs up the entire student pickup, students coming, staff leaving, where you can't go any farther because left their heart, they can't turn left.
That
It's
traffic
very
situation
difficult.
after a home football game is
Oh, it's a nightmare.
really terrible.
Could
And
they
I
not
don't know if they
pull
have
up there and
anyone,
turn left and go up towards the red light and then go up towards Milton?
Well, part of the
I
issue
know
there
buses come in that way.
is we
This
don't.
would be against the bank, would it come and go?
That is correct, but I know it used to be that the bus is still loaded in that area, and one of the problems is that if we have that gate between the two loops open,
Yeah.
then what happens is parents go and they start parking there for their kids, and then you have kids that are
Yeah.
running to their
They will.
vehicles when the buses are trying to leave. So that's one of the
That's
reasons
correct.
they have that.
Yeah.
But I will follow up. I will
Okay.
absolutely follow up.
I mean,
with that.
that's a legitimate
I
concern
know
with
it,
that gate.
after the Huntington High football game last Friday, and there was quite a crowd there, they had a great system set up. Folks directing traffic with those long, I guess you call them flashlights or safety lights or whatever, but they had a great system. I mean, we were parked in the stadium, and we got off that hill in 5 minutes.
Nice,
And there were thousands of people there,
nice.
and they handled it really well. I don't know, is Cabell Midland doing that? Or are they directing traffic after,
I don't. Oh.
do you know that?
He's the one that set up the Huntington High in and out.
Well, you did
Oh,
a great job.
well done then.
You did a great job. Absolutely did. But I
I'll
think
work with,
Midland needs to look
I'll
at that.
work with their SRO out there about possibly working when they have, rival games like.
Yeah,
Huntington
big
and
events.
Huntington High,
Yeah.
Of a way to get cars in and out.
Good.
Yeah,
I
that'd
mean,
be
it's
great.
It's a safety
Get some advice
concern.
From, Mr. Blackburn too.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for that. Anything else? No? All right, discussion, number 7, update on current legal issues. Madam Counsel, we need to,
Yes, Madam
go
Vice
into
President.
executive session, correct?
Yes, Madam.
All
Madam
right,
Chairman,
yeah,
I offer a
yes, sir.
motion, we go in executive
Thank you,
session
sir.
for 7.01, updates on current legal
Okay,
issues.
thank you.
I'll second.
All right, having that, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Hearing none. We are in executive session.
Second?
Okay, Skip and Melissa. All right, looking at the agenda, I see closing items. Do we have any closing items, board members? Any?
Yeah,
anything?
to dismiss.
Well, Mrs. Smalley, do we need to vote?
Yes,
on
we do.
that.
Thank you for that.
Thank
All
you.
in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. Hearing none, motion carries. All right, now, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Skip is ready.
Very fervently, Mr. Parsons. Makes a
Second motion. Second motion.
We have a second from Mr. Shaw. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing none, motion carries.
Carol us out.
Aw,
We are
Home.
well done.
Homebound.
homebound.